Sparky was great fun. You couldn't be in his company more than 5 minutes without laughter developing. He was just, had a great spirit for life, and I still love being in touch with him, and he's been a responsible manager for a long time. Yeah.
What about Mark?
Martin was a more complex character. He drank too much. I mean, it's kind of known. In those days, it wasn't really treated as an illness, and people were still thinking like, isn't that great how Billy can really pack it in? And it wasn't great, and it did terrible things. Billy got in so much trouble as a result of that. And in a sense, we were kind of enabling him by almost making it seem like that was part of why he was a colorful character. I never had a bad moment with Billy Martin. He was always good with me. But it was a lot more complex than Sparky Lyle, believe me. By the way, if you've never been to the Yogi Berra Museum on Montclair State Campus, fantastic. Really make sure you see it. And I did public relations for the museum, and I've always been close with Yogi. But it was Susan Waldman who really brokered that deal. It had gone on long enough. It turned out Yogi was angry with Mr. Steinbrenner because Mr. Steinbrenner hadn't fired him personally. He had sent somebody else from the office to inform him that his services were no longer desired. And Yogi said, hey, managers get fired all the time. That's okay, that goes with the territory. That the man couldn't come and tell me himself was the reason that I said I'd never go back to Yankee Stadium. But it was like 18 years or something he stayed away. And then finally Susan Waldman talked both of them into reconciling. I was at the Yogi Museum that night. Mr. Steinbrenner flew up from Florida, drove straight to the museum. He walked in the door. Mr. Steinbrenner's plane was late, so as a result, he was late arriving. And when he walks in, Yogi just says, "You're late." And actually, it was like 18 years late is what it was. But Yogi is gifted with just the ability to say and do the right thing all the time. And they went privately into the office at the museum, and Mr. Steinbrenner, there was just the three of them, Yogi and Carmen Berra and Mr. Steinbrenner. Mr. Steinbrenner said, well, I realized that I made a terrible mistake with the way I handled that. And Yogi, instead of doing what many of us might have done, just said, oh, I make plenty of mistakes too. Which was a wonderful way to break the tension and resolve that. And of course, there's no more popular figure than Yogi Berra today. He gets the biggest applause at Old Timers Day. And you know, there's so many special things about this great man. You know, he's been doing television commercials since 1949. Now, I mean, what a career just in television commercials, and he's still great. You know, everybody loves the Aflac commercials and all of that. He was doing Gillette commercials in 1949, and now it's 2010, and he's still going. And when he walks into that room, he knows more about how to do it than anybody in the room. When he came back from shooting the Aflac commercial, we're at the museum, and he's talking about his adventure on the day on the set, and then he says, you know, the duck doesn't really talk. They put that in later.